Hey gardeners, welcome back to my kitchen today. We're doing an indoor project. I'm ready to cue the Christmas music and drink some eggnog. Today we are getting in the spirit of Christmas by planting up some beautiful amaryllis bulbs that will be blooming just in time for the holiday season. So if you watched my video the other day, I went shopping at one of my very favorite places called Down to Earth here in Eugene, Oregon. And I gave you guys a sneak peek at something I purchased. Did any of you guess what it was? If you did, let me know in the comments. It is a beautiful amaryllis bulb. And look at the size of this thing. It is just absolutely beautiful. Now this one is called a mambo. And it is gonna be a gorgeous red color with some white on the throat. And I'm very, very excited to try this new bulb today. Also, I'm gonna link a video where I showed that I put my amaryllis bulbs into dormancy last year. Actually, it wasn't last year. It was in the mid to late summer. And so I wanted to show you the results of that. I've got 3 amaryllis bulbs that have been hanging out in my greenhouse. And they're doing really well. I don't see any mold or mildew. They're relatively dry, but I can tell that the roots are still in good shape. And this one actually started pushing a little bit new growth. And let's see, I've got one more. Now this one was really interesting. It actually has 2 little baby amaryllis that are pushing on the sides, and I decided to leave all 3 of these together rather than separate this so that I could get these little baby bulbs a little bit bigger. Let's go ahead and get started. I save all my red pots for this time of year, and I do prefer to use plastic pots, and I do prefer to use pots that have drainage. So I went ahead and filled up the 3 red containers that I have, and then I didn't have any more red, so I picked a terracotta because I figured that could go with any decor. What I'm gonna do now is figure out which bulbs to put in which containers. So I wanna look at the size of the container relative to the size of the bulb. So basically you don't want anything that's too big, that's gonna, trap too much moisture around the bulb. Also, when you plant these, you only want to plant them up into about the mid of the bulb and no dirt here on the neck. Also, when you water, you don't want to get any water down into the neck of the plant. Unfortunately, I don't know the names of these other 3. They were just ones that I got at big box stores last year, I think Home Depot. But you can tell the difference of the size of the one that I purchased, at the nursery versus the ones at the big box store last year. So I'm gonna go ahead and get these planted up and think about which vessel would be the best fit for each of my bulbs. So I think I've got that one there. This is definitely my biggest bulb, so I'm gonna choose my biggest pot for him. This one has those side branches, so I think I'm gonna go with the second biggest here. And then these 2 are about the same size. Come over here. I've got a helper today that wants to plant some bulbs with me. Can you say hi? Do you want to plant some bulbs with me today? Some holiday bulbs? No. He just wants to say hi. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and keep this tag this time so that I remember which one this is. And I'm gonna go ahead and, dig my hole. The other thing I did grab from my greenhouse is some top dressing. So all I have for top dressing is just some river rock. It actually is from the river that's near our house, the Willamette River. And I just go to the rock bars and get free rock. You could also, it's the Mackenzie River? Well, we have the Willamette River here too, and the Mackenzie River.
We live close to both.
We do live close to both. Okay, I have seen some tips where you can, if the roots are really dry, you can soak them in water for 24 hours. I didn't do that in this particular case, but I think it's gonna be fine. So I'm just gonna tuck those roots down in, even though they look dry, and center my bulb. And this is my new one that I'm really excited about. And any kind of planting medium will be fine. But like I said, you just wanna make sure that you're not putting that dirt too far up the bulb. And you also want it to be seated nicely in your vessel. I do think it's nice to use pots that have drainage. So a couple things, when you get those like kits from the big box stores, a lot of times those pots do not have drainage. They are nice for like a gift or whatever, but this was one that I got last year, I think at Home Depot, and I just drilled my own hole in the bottom so that I could, you know, make sure that there was drainage in there. So I want to go ahead and show you, I might add just a tiny bit more dirt here, not much. If anything, error on the side of, you know, not a lot of potting medium. And again, when you water, you want to make sure to keep the water out of the neck. So this is about what I've got here. And now I'm gonna just top dress this with some of my stones. And like I said, if you don't have a river near you, you could just, you know, there's all kinds of pretty stones. In fact, I'll try to find some and link them on my Amazon links down below of some ones that I might use in the future. But I have some pretty ones here if I dig through that are kind of smooth. And this does a couple things. It will hopefully just kind of help the roots to, you know, settle into the pot. And also I just think it looks nice on the top, especially because these are gonna be indoor plants for me. Now I'm here about mid-November planting these up because I wanna try to get blooms for Christmas, if possible. So let me know in the comments, have you ever grown Amaryllis? And if so, you know, what are some tips that you have? What are some things that you've discovered in planting them? So right now I did notice most of the big box stores do have Amaryllis available. And unless you need the vessel, I think sometimes it's easier to just, or more inexpensive to just buy the bulbs if you already have things at home. So here we go, that's gonna be done. I'm gonna water this one in. And then as these grow up, you will need to stake them. They will need some kind of support. I'm gonna go ahead and do this 3-4 this time in this pot. But you will need to stake them. So have some, I like to use like bamboo stakes. Again, I'll try to link something in my Amazon here that could work for staking, but anything will work, even like a tree branch or something like that. And the other thing I like to do is around the stake, I like to tie like a pretty ribbon just to, you know, adhere the bulb that grows, because they do get really tall, to tie it to the staking. So I would encourage you to try that trick if you haven't. It just makes them look like that much more sort of festive. Okay, with this one I'm going to be a little careful, and I might trim a little bit of this. I still have some foliage from the summer that's wanting to pop out, but I'm going to go around here. This is the one where I have the two little side sprouts. But I'm really curious to know how this is going to do. So these ones that I got last year, basically I treated them as a house plant most of the spring and summer, and they had great big foliage that was coming up. But then about, I would say mid-summer, well, late summer, I guess, mid to late summer, I went ahead and cut off all the foliage and basically forced dormancy. So what you need to do that is basically put them in the dark and in a cool location to sort of, you know, kind of pretend that they are, you know, going to sleep for winter, and then you can force the bulbs at this time of year. All right, I feel like that's seated pretty well. So I think on this one, I'm gonna use some bigger stones and just kind of go around. I've got some kind of pretty lava looking rocks in here, a few tumbled rocks, but I'm just gonna kind of put these around. I wanna be careful of my little babies because I wanna give them lots of room to grow. So I'm gonna kind of avoid the areas where the little side sprouts are. And then I'm gonna grab my scissors real quick and clean this one up just a little bit. All right, so we're just gonna kind of get rid of that bits here. And again, I will be watering all these in, but I'll probably take them outside to do that part. Okay, so I feel like that one's pretty good. It's a little crooked, but I can still manipulate. Okay, so there's that one with the two little babies on either side. And I'm just gonna keep going here and get the rest of these potted up. top dressed with some stones. And basically, if everything goes correctly, these should be blooming in about 4 to 6 weeks for me, and that will be just in time to celebrate the holiday season. I just want to make sure that I do keep them watered, probably water about once a week, not soggy, but you know, wet. And then I want to give them as much light as possible, put them in a sunny window. At least here in Oregon, it's pretty dark this time of year. If you live in a sunnier area, you might not need to put them quite so near a window. But for me, we have lack of light this time of year a little bit. So I'm gonna put them near a window so they get lots of light, and then just wait and watch them grow. It's really fun to do this if you have kids. It's really fun to see every day they just get a little taller and taller and taller. And in fact, last year, my tallest one was touching the chandelier of my dining table. That's how tall it was. So it was really cool and fun for my kids and I to just track them and watch them grow every single day. So I hope that you enjoyed watching today's video, and I hope that it inspired you to maybe try Amaryllis this year if you never have. I'm super excited to get some beautiful blooms, and I'll be sure to keep you updated on how these turn out. Thanks so much for watching this video today. If you liked it, if you could give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, maybe the bell for notifications. I would really appreciate it. I've got a lot more fun videos coming this season, so you want to be sure to check those out. If you need me, I'll be hanging out doing planty stuff in my yard or possibly indoors this time of year. I'll see you next time. Bye.